People are like onions in the sense that when we have life issues and we kind of pull one layer apart to fix it, we find another, and then another, and another, and another. And in a way, one layer of issues always supports the next. So here I'm thinking about a situation. On the one hand, there's this question, and the question in this case is I was invited by my friends to go out. And when I go out, they often like to stay out later than I prefer to. And I kind of don't really care for saying no. I kind of want to say yes. But is that really my decision? And then on the other hand, there's this issue where I'm kind of critical of myself. I'm harsh on myself. Now, I'm very much controlled. I think through my decisions, I calculate them. I weigh the pros and cons. I look at the risks and I make decisions to better myself and to do right. Now, underneath all that, a lot of times I don't feel good enough. And without feeling good enough, I can be self critical. I can doubt my own self esteem. I wonder about the life decisions that I made. Should I be somewhere else? Now, we know there's problems around the word should. If we take this bigger, deeper issue of am I good enough, then we look at an in between level issue of am I being too critical? Am I too overly in control? To a more very direct, concrete issue. Should I go out tonight? Right? You can easily break this apart and see there are many complicated factors underlying this. So, face value, do I go out tonight? You may notice two competing needs. One need is the need to have a social group and friends, and another need is to take care of your body. Now, you can take that a level deeper, and you can think like Maslow's hierarchy. Sleeping is a first level need, and relationships are kind of in the middle, right? So we can go back and forth with that. Then you can break it down more. Why is it that it's important for me to sleep? Is it because I'm trying to get over a cold? Is it because I'm trying to change sleep patterns? Is it because I'm trying to actually just rest my mind because I know that sleeping allows me the most brain-derived neurotropic factor to allow things to grow or to allow my creativity to come out? Or do I have a lack of friendships? Maybe I might value that more. Or maybe these are old friends, right? Because there's this idea that you surround yourself with people who build you up. It's a good question. Now, when you're weighing the pros and the cons, a lot of times that means that you will spend more time in your head than you will with the people around you. Now, when you're spending all this time in your head, you're thinking, you're ruminating, you're pondering, whatever. So, the point of this is if you're being self critical and you're spending a lot of time in your head, right? If you're being critical, that means you're comparing one thing to another. You're judging one thing to another. And in order to judge yourself, you have to make yourself into a thing. And when you're a thing, you're always at risk of being not good enough. You're a human being, not a thing. So that might be a helpful start. And then the next piece of this is when you look at judgments, you're always trying to determine if something functions in causality, right? And we know that if we look at our humanity, it's very difficult to identify our causality. So, to get a little bit of it off the tracks here, one of the first things you can do as you start to work out of issues of being self-critical is to start complimenting the people around you and give them high quality compliments, right? And the key to giving high quality compliments is you want to be specific and immediate. So when you compliment a person, you say, I like your work. So if a person deep in their own mind doesn't want to believe that, or they're self-critical, they'll cut that out. If you say, I like the way that you created this painting here behind me, this picture. I like the way that the blue, right, kind of augments the yellow and the darker blue and the way it comes together. So what happens in that is you're saying something from your own perspective, I like, and then you're being very specific. The way these different parts, the blue and the yellow and the dark blue, people cannot easily disagree with that. They can't push that away. And by being concrete about it, right, they know exactly what you mean. And they're also not complimenting some big, vague character structure. It's a specific thing, right? When we get around to talking about emotions, there's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is about doing the wrong behavior. Shame is about being a bad person. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to identify the strengths, the concrete strengths. Now, later we're going to talk about different potentials, how different potentials compete. But for the short run, just stick with identifying compliments in other people. And then what you'll find is over time, as your brain is busy complimenting other people, it'll start to compliment you also.